Oh, the most talked about pass catcher in this 2016 NFL draft, seated right there. There he is, everybody, from Ole Miss, Laquon Treadwell. What's the poop, fella?
Nothing much. Just training, traveling, and enjoying family.
Well, you've obviously, don't be so modest. You've also taken some time to up your fashion. Look at that sweater. That's
Thank
very nice.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Big shout out to my stylist.
I was just going to say, you choose that out yourself or you're vending out important decisions like that?
I don't got that type of eye for fashion like that, but my stylist Milton does, and he's very excited for the future, and he's put me in this, and well, he actually didn't put me in it. He gave me a bunch of selections, and I chose it. So
Well, whoever's responsible, it looks very good. First thing, we got to get our ducks in a row before and then even after the draft happens. You're about to be a pro football player. You need, marketing wise, you need a nickname. I've come up with one. LT. You're welcome.
I'll take it, no problem.
You're LT now. What do you think of that? Is that cool?
That's cool, but I think more will come up.
Let me tell you something. I've already scolded LaDainian as a fellow LT. I've scolded LaDainian Tomlinson, who's a delightful fellow. But I said, come on, man. There's already an LT who was a New York Giant. We need a new nickname. Where do you come down on the LT nickname?
I don't know. Just stick with me, Laquan.
You're gonna stay Laquon. Have you ever met another person named Laquon?
Yeah,
Have you really?
I have.
Huh. I would think so. I thought maybe that. I love the name because it seems like DeBrickashaws, for instance. There can't be any other DeBrickashaws, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
But a Laquan you have met.
It has.
Why do you?
Spelled differently though?
Oh, okay.
Mine spelled it differently too.
So yours is unique to the world then.
Yeah.
What? Why did you go with the number 1 in college? And of course, since you're not going to be able to wear that in the NFL, what number will you go with?
I really don't know what number I'll go with in the NFL. You know, I'll look at the numbers available from the teams I'm picked on, and I went with the number 1 in college. Um, I had high school number 6, but when I got to college, that was the only number that was available that I really liked, and I wanted to go with. So, you know, they gave it to me, and I just started making my own legend.
Well, you did make your own legend down there at Ole Miss, and good thing because you can't wear number 1 and be like a backup, right? You got to be like the man. You have to have a certain vibe to you to pull off a number 1. True.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. You got to hold yourself to them standards.
How did you wind up down there at Ole Miss, being a Chicago suburb guy?
Um, had a teammate go there the year before me, and I kind of caught the vibe of the school and the coaches and the fans and
Completely different world from, I imagine, I spent some time in Chicago, but never down there in Oxford, Mississippi, just like moving to a different planet.
yeah, it was different planet, slower planet, if you want to say. Just real relaxed and football oriented, and that's me. So I felt comfortable, and then me and my teammates we just all clicked. It was like I was supposed to be there before I even got there. So.
Where's their better food? Oxford, Mississippi or Chicago, Illinois?
That's a good question. I would have to say Oxford. They got some good food, but
What is it, like Cajun-y?
just everything different, just tastes different. And but I probably haven't seen the best restaurants in Chicago. I'll say, just because I've been on the outside south suburbs, so they got some good food in Chicago, and looking forward to getting out there this draft. And
I was going to say, what local haunts, since you're a Chicago guy going back there for the draft, how awesome is that for you and your whole family and all your friends and everybody? Any restaurant tips or for any visitors to Chicago around the draft that you might offer up?
you have to go to uh, man, I ain't been to Chicago in so long. But Bagger's Pizza, really pizza, hot dogs, pasta. I mean, they got it all. I mean,
The classics, yeah, that's what
yeah,
Chicago does
yeah.
well.
You just got to go and try it all out. And I mean, got several options. Several options.
Who would win a 7-game series between the 96 Bulls and the 2016 Warriors?
The Bulls.
Why so?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Well,
I mean, you got Steph Curry too, but it's Michael Jordan. I mean, I wouldn't bet my money against him. And
so Pippen checks Klay Thompson, right?
yeah,
I think that makes sense. Jordan is then checking Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
And vice versa. That is a mismatch. I don't think
that
that's well. Iguodala then checks Jordan.
No.
I think that's what you do. I think that's what would be the matchup.
I think everybody's tried to check Jordan and it didn't work. So, I mean, that's the difference, you know. But I think Jordan can hold his own against Steph. I think Steph he'll give him a run for his money, but I think Jordan will pull it out at the end for sure.
All right. I mean, listen, I can't argue too much about any team that includes Michael Jordan on it. Who was your favorite football player growing up?
I did like LaDainian Thompson.
Oh.
I liked
because of LT?
Yeah, and I played running back and when I was in grade school, so LaDainian Thompson was one of my favorites. And then in college it was Reggie Bush and Vince Young. And just like the way they played the game. There was just different. You know, I don't know what stood out about them, but those were my favorite coming up.
Who did you root for in the national championship game? Did you root for Bama or did you root for Clemson? This is an important answer. Consider it carefully.
Honestly, I didn't root for either one. I was at the game, and I just wanted to watch and see how the game actually went down. And I thought Clemson was going to win it because I felt like they had more firepower and they had the players to beat Alabama when I was watching the game and as it was unfolding. But I think Nick Saban he made the right coaching call on the offside kick, and that it just switched the momentum of the game. And Alabama is a team about momentum, and when they got it, they're hard to stop. And you know, they just made the plays that they needed at the end of the game, and you know, that's how they pulled away with that win.
Well, I got to tell you, I think you gave the correct answer. Neither of the above, because I don't like it when people root for their conference to do well. Like, well, the Bama beat you guys in the conference, so no, so you don't get to root for them. You shouldn't root for them.
They didn't beat us though.
They didn't beat us. Exactly right. I like that.
Back to back.
Right.
I gotta say that.
For all of time too. Yeah, you got that forever. You beat Nick Saban's Bama twice, one of the great dynasties ever, and you got that feather in your cap there. All right, let's one more question before we get to our little questionnaire that we've done with all the draft picks or the upcoming draft picks. Let's say your football deeds are so great, 50 years from now, like the Heisman Trophy, they'd say we need the Treadwell Trophy. What's the pose?
What's the pose?
Because, you know, Heisman has that cool one. What's the Treadwell pose?
That's a good question.
Getting a cool sweater from your stylist? Like that? No, not that.
What you got to do, you gotta make the guy on there. He got to have a smile. And he's got to have his helmet in one hand and his cleats in the other. And he's got his head up high. And I don't know.
It seemed like you don't know. It seemed like you had the whole thing.
I got it. He got his hands, his cleats, his helmet. He's on one knee, and he's praying.
I see.
There it is.
All right. I see. That's something. You've given some great detail there.
Yeah.
Now all we need is somebody to actually make this trophy.
Yeah. I think it'll happen.
What do you think, though, by the way, real quick, before we get to these, even if we don't get to the questions, the questionnaire that we do, I mean, it's been the talked about issue since the 40 and even since the combine and your pro day and everything else, and before that, about this foot speed business. And I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you. I say this for years now. Are people not aware of Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald and Antonio Brown? Those guys didn't run. If you ran a 40 like Damashek does, like 6'3", then that's a problem. But are people not observing that you're not going to run straight ahead for 40 yards very often in the NFL, that it requires a little more nuance than that? What do you say?
I just think people don't know football. It's football players and it's combine kings, and I'm a football player. I don't get excited about going and running straight and touching his cone, touching his cone. I get excited about learning the game of football, learning how to be a better receiver, learning what the greats did and how they got better every day and what they did to get better as far as their work ethic and practice, and how did they become a better teammate, and why were they so respected on the teams. And, that's what I get excited about, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
I mean, honestly, no jive. I really do. I think it's the same sort of thing as when scouts from the NBA say, well, I'm worried about this kid's ability to shoot the basketball. He's not a great perimeter. Yeah, those guys figure it out when they get to the NBA. Same thing with the foot speed thing among wide receivers. There's so many examples of guys that didn't run a 4.2 that end up being great NFL players. It's weird that is always, that's the signature item of the combine, is it, as though that somehow translates into practical football playing.
With Randy Moss, it was, that's what it was. Like, you knew you were going to get a burner. And some guys just not built for that, and it depends. If I had great hands and ran a 4.4 and 4.3, they're like, okay, wow, and that's the difference. I mean, it's just a perspective. They want to put a perspective on someone and try to measure how good they'll be when they really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think nobody can put a measure on how good I'll be. Nobody can say it, and I'll never limit myself to what somebody else is saying. I'll always hold myself to the standard that I hold myself to all my life. So I feel like I'm great, and I'll continue to be great, and I'll continue to learn and get better and be coachable and do all the right things to just be a Hall of Fame player. That's my goal. And
Ooh, Hall of Fame player even.
Yes, sir.
Oh, a gold jacket over that sweater will look nice, I think. Yeah,
gold jackets. That's what we're talking about.
All right, let's get through a couple of these real quick here. It's our Inside the Actor Studio questions that we've been doing. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word? Thank you.
Ah, that's very nice. What turns you off?
What turns me off? That's weird.
People who talk about 40 times too much. How about that?
I don't really get into that. I don't know. Just gotta
look at that. You've got so much love in your heart that you can't even think of something that turns you off.
I don't know. I don't do well. I don't rock with negative vibes.
I got you.
It's always good vibe.
What profession would you want to do if you weren't going to be a football player?
Basketball.
Basketball. Which would be the profession you would never want to have to do?
Singing.
Singing. Oh, you don't consider yourself a singer, do you?
Shy. I'm soft spoken, so I don't like to. There's too many people. I don't know how they do it.
If you want to sing the Ole Miss Fight song, you're more than welcome to.
No,
you don't want to.
No, sir.
All right.
Go Rebels, though.
Last question for you is, if heaven exists, what would you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did well.
You did well. Yeah, and I can see that, he might say, because you're wearing that gold jacket, Laquon. That might be what he says.
Nah, it's bigger than football.
Yeah. Laquon Treadwell, everybody. He is going to be a star in the NFL. You heard Damashek say it. I want you to know. I'm on board with this. This is going to work out very well for you, maybe even with a gold jacket. Thanks for the time. Enjoy getting back up to Chicago. Have a good time with the family and the friends up there. I can't imagine a better time than having everybody there for you for your big moment. And thanks for the time today, Laquon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Certainly.